survival of the fittest is the soup du jour, ladies and gentlemen, and that hasn't changed because I tell you what, it's our new season and we are still trying to survive. Sometimes I say to myself, are you able to pull this off? Bobby, can you do this? Because I tell you, it hasn't gotten any easier, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, I think that, we went from having like a hard time in the industry to like having sort of everything kind of got back to normal. Everyone was like relieved. And all of a sudden, again, things get complicated. The holidays are over. They were tough. I mean, at least when I say tough, I mean work-wise. Anyone in the industry knows what I'm talking about when I say tough. The holidays, everyone's used to it. We do it year in, year out. We got a couple of years off from the pandemia, but, we're back. And Christmas was definitely rocking, but it just seems like, as usual, the holidays just fly by. They fly by, and here we are again. I mean, we're going straight into, February just seems like it's a hop, skip, and jump away. January has been relatively insignificant. I mean, if you don't follow politics or if you don't listen to all the Rona rants, it's been relatively chill. So aside from politics and, but food's exciting. I think that there's, once again, chefs are just being pushed harder and harder to produce for their dining rooms and their guests. And, I ask myself, I say, well, man, I'm having a hard time finding chefs, let alone cooks, chefs now to run these different restaurants that I consult with. And I cannot believe it. Send your resumes. Just send a link direct, message me on our Instagram. That's at Chef Roberto Trevino. Tell me if you're interested in a chef position. We have some good ones, good pay. I tell you what, it's wonderful to live in Florida, in case you're thinking of relocating from one of those cold northeastern has-been towns. Yeah, right. Don't get offended, everybody. I'm joking. I find that, that Florida, even though it's as cold as a lot of places in the Northeast right now, they're talking about a wind chill in the 20s here in Central Florida. That's like, we have a big farm industry. We have an agriculture industry that's pretty big in Central Florida, and the freezing, I'm just not sure how it's going to affect us. Yet again, another challenge. It is indeed 2022, and it has, and we're just a few weeks into this. It has been challenging. So this cold, man, I thought I escaped it for life, even though I've never really lived in a super cold place. I've been to a lot of cold places, but I've never lived there day in, day out, season after season. No, none of that. And living in Puerto Rico, tú sabes, the seasons are minimal. It's like calor y menos calor, pero está bueno. I've learned to just absolutely love that, and my bones appreciate it, and my age kind of loves that tropical. So I always thought, Florida, pretty tropical, but this weather, goodness, what? I can't even believe it. Okay, all right, I get it. We're here, but it is cold, so hopefully it'll warm up soon. Certainly, that's what I love about the kitchen. But the makeup area, and anyone who has a kitchen knows that there's like a pump that throws in air so it doesn't yank all the air conditioning out of your dining room or whatever. You have an open kitchen, but the air curtain that literally brings air from the outside. I'll be standing on the line, those 10 burners, a flat top, a grill, 2 double-decker ovens going, everything rolling. And I'll literally just breathe into where the makeup air is shooting that cold air down into the kitchen. And, that smoke, that like vapor, that make-believe smoke that you like pretend you're smoking starts to come out, in that cold. Well, you could do that on the line. All right, with this cold coming in from the makeup air. So I'm serious, man. And I love the warmth of the kitchen, but man, I'm telling you, when that makeup air comes and hits you on the back, you're just like, whoa, wait a minute. This is not normal. And I've had many, who hasn't had long conversations in the walk-ins? Who hasn't had that reprimanding in the walk-in? Who hasn't had to set the standards in the walk-in and stand in the walk-in for an extended period, 10, 20, 30 minutes sometimes, it gets cold, but I'm telling you, not like this. I mean, there's something about outdoor winter cold. And maybe it's the wind or something, but no, thank you. So on the lighter things of not just the weather, even though I like to talk about the weather because the weather is just, I mean, there's a moment where I'm not checking how cold or warm it is and wondering how it's going to affect business. And it does. Florida gets cold. People don't dine out. They stay in. They go out. And again, once again, maybe another big plus for the ghost kitchens out there and, all these people who are making a go at the online dining. Maybe this cold is a big plus if you do see that. I mean, I know food trucks probably don't do so well in the cold weather, but the ghost kitchen might. So, sometimes I think there's this running competition between what is better to open a food truck or a ghost kitchen. And, one of these ghost kitchen centers, you know what I mean? So you're not necessarily getting into a restaurant. You're literally kind of opening your own little space, your own little restaurant there. But, no dining room. It's just online. But I'm wondering if there's more pluses as far as sales go with even the weather, than even a food truck. So I'm wondering, I think there's this race going on between the two. And I think there's a lot of young entrepreneurs and chefs and restaurateurs that are thinking to themselves well, I kind of want to get in the business. I want to own a restaurant someday. I want to be a great chef. And where can I do that without having to answer to a whole lot of bosses? And, obviously, let me take something back and let me remind everybody about the guests. Ultimately, they are your boss and, they're very demanding. But to be your own boss and own your own food truck or ghost kitchen, I'm curious to know which one is the better one to own. I've never been a big fan of the food trucks, and I give food truck chefs a lot of credit. And certainly a lot of people have, I don't want to say graduated because I don't think that's the right word. They moved on from their food trucks into brick and mortar, which I think is very cool. And, maybe it even kind of taught them to be frugal, taught them to use their products, to use their space properly, that they have. So maybe it was a positive for a lot of these people, but I'm still curious if the ghost kitchen is doing better than the food trucks. So please send us messages on the Instagram. I think that's where we're most active. Although my Twitter has a whole lot more followers, I believe that the Instagram's a little more engaging with, more people. Basically, I just think people look at it more as entertainment. I think they look at Twitter more as informative. But either or, please reach out, Chef Roberto Trevino on either. Or I think Chef Trevino on Twitter, yeah. And, once again, I just think that the chefs, and you know what? With the lack, and here's something to think about. Here's something that we all need to think about as chefs in the future, as we get older, as, we expect more and more and more out of our lives professionally, We don't start working and, you don't necessarily start to work hard and then go backwards. It's always the contrary. You move forward, you go faster, you get stronger, you get better, you get richer. Forgive me. But, it's a fact. And that becomes the drive. And I think that chefs need to recognize that as our industry is changing so much because of the times we're living in, are you worth more money? Is what you do require you to get paid more money? And I'd have to say, yes. Our industry is coming on. There's a reckoning, that's coming. And I'm not sure, will the mom and pop restaurants be able to survive? Will, the freestanding one-all restaurant, will it be able to survive with these new realities of how people need to get paid? I mean, people are quitting their jobs left and right everywhere across America. I don't know if it's around the world, but it's certainly in my, what I see here, what I perceive within the United States, within our market is, that great resignation certainly has happened. But those of us who are willing to not resign, who are not, some people say, well, I resigned to do something I like to do. I mean, I do things that I like to do as well, but I still maintain my job, and I think it's just because of maybe it's my age, maybe it's a generational thing, I'm not sure. But has it gotten to the point where our profession as chefs, as restaurant managers, really good restaurant managers, you know, is it warranting more money per year? And I'd have to say, like, for some restaurants that are truly successful, that are truly making their numbers, that are truly executing the work properly, I'd have to say, yes, your managers and your chef are definitely worth more money. And will it affect ownership's bottom line? You know what? In the end, I'd have to say no, because you're not wasting the money when you're paying for quality workers. And that, I think, is where we're at. You need to find those people if you want to be successful. And a lot of restaurateurs get that bug. Oh, no, I need another restaurant. Or I've always wanted an Italian place, or I've always wanted a pizza place, or I've always wanted a fine dining restaurant. And they move back and forth. It runs the gamut. But nevertheless, people want to expand. And you won't be able to expand unless you have the right people. And that is what has happened, I think, with the world we're living in our industry now, is that it has whittled down. What do they say? Tu sabes la crema flows to the top. And that's what we're seeing. And, exciting concepts, I think, are out there. And I think talented chefs are out there. And I think opportunities for people to continue to dine. I mean, the dynamics of dining have changed. It's gotten to the point where the dining room now is people's homes. It's gotten to the point where people want certain levels of dining. They might as well become members of a dining club and pay the kind of money necessary to dine at that level. Now, does that open doors for an entire new sector where you can find members to then invest in your project prior to it even being open, to be part of a membership? Could you put together the right management team, the right chef, the right concept, and attract the right investment? That's where we're at today. And in order to survive, it takes this kind of, not my kind of thinking, but that kind of thinking. The thinking that allows you to say, like, I wonder. And I like the idea of putting a concept together and making it so stellar that you could actually pre-sell it to members. And that is something that will possibly investigate it a little more so we could bring a smarter sort of approach to what we're talking about. But it's there. And now that you've heard a little bit what I'm thinking, I want to hear what you're thinking about it as well. Please send us a message. Let's collaborate. Let's talk. And collaborate seems to be the new hot word, And it's not necessarily like new, because it's been around forever. Let's collab, but I think it kind of like, let's collaborate. I think people even say that at the bars when they meet. Do people still meet each other at bars? That's a good question, but, like, do you find a date? Do you go out to find a date? I don't know with all these dating apps and everything these days, but whatever. You know what? I'm always trying to just keep my mind in the kitchen, keep my mind doing, fun things, keep my mind trying to entertain myself by entertaining you. And sometimes I can be not so entertaining. I'll admit it. But at the same time, I like to share the ideas that I think are important and hopefully can inspire some of you to get out there and do something, inspire young chefs to get out there and cook killer, inspire restaurateurs to continue to learn about wines and service and understand how to handle your guest, whether it be, in a dining room, at a bar, at your food truck, with your ghost kitchen, serving people in their homes, making sure that they're comfortable, that they're getting the right utensils, that you're marketing your place properly, all these things. And I'm hoping that survival of the fittest is the soup du jour is something that, can not only because that name, is about surviving. It came in a time in our history that survival was a fact of life for everybody. And I wanted to kind of concentrate on how the industry would change from that point on. I wanted to concentrate on how, I would communicate to the industry, not only just my cooks that are standing in front of me or the waiters that I'm having a lineup with, but as many people as I possibly can. And this was the forum. It was indeed during a survivor's peak that we decided to go ahead and get the word out to all of you. So once again, I'm happy to do it. I'm hoping that we inspire people to be excellent. I'm hoping that we continue to grow our industry. I am a believer and a lover of it. I know there's some stellar thinkers, there's some super people out there, some talented people out there. And I just think that the more we can allow people to just take that step forward, and if we can be part of it, then so be it. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're back. We're ready. We want to share ideas. We want you to share your ideas with us. This is Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. I'm Chef Roberto Trevino. Saludos a Puerto Rico. Saludos a Coahuila, Mexico, where we have some listeners. Saludos a Texas, New York City, Los Angeles, everything in between, and of course our friends in the subcontinent. Ladies and gentlemen, Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. We'll see you soon.